I'm going to paint this in as honest fact as possible. So you're the CEO of a wildly successful athletics company. You've done many things for the first time and almost defined the playbook, right? You and your team were ahead of the curve, and people are now following you in a way which is what maybe 20 years back no one would have imagined. So you decide that you and your two top lieutenants at Puma will start a company. You will raise almost 600 crores in seed capital, buy out Puma's top manufacturer and supplier. So supply and people will leave to start Agilitas. Please tell me how that conversation happened with your bosses, and how are they okay with it?
Uh, well, first and foremost, the supply chain didn't leave because we still make for Puma as
Okay.
Mochico. So the concept at that point of time, I'll just go back in time. 2022, I had the opportunity to do more at Puma, and I was
You're taking
doing
on a
this
global role and so on, right?
global role. I was already doing Southeast Asia. More was coming in because my boss's boss, Bjorn, left the business to join Adidas as the CEO. Arne, my boss, became the CEO of Puma. That really opened up a lot of space for doing more organically within the company. But deep in my mind, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, right? I wish I started when you started at the age you started. I mean, I always thought about it like that. The reason I kept hooked on to Puma was it gave me most of the pleasures of entrepreneurship. I had the headroom, I had the full flexibility. We were cracking the market and creating a code which was not a copy paste. So that's what an entrepreneur does, except that it was somebody else's company.
Correct.
And mostly foreign shareholders. Um, and
Did that,
and
did that affect you a little bit?
yeah, I think it did not affect me, but there were moments of truth where I realized that I was actually not creating value for Indian shareholders and Indian ecosystem per se.
I'll tell you when it hit me
Yeah,
is when I was talking to the Colgate is an investor of mine,
yeah,
and the Colgate CFO would send profit targets to all global subsidiaries of Colgate.
yeah,
That this year I need you to get me $300 million, $200 million, whatever, right? And I think India is in similar. The CFO of India gets a similar target. And while India is a publicly owned company, a majority of that profit actually on the 31st of March gets deposited back, man.
yeah,
And I'm sure for you,
yeah,
you and your team would be hustling like
yeah,
crazy
yeah,
at 3,000 crores. I'm assuming you're creating 500 crores of PAT.
yeah,
And all of that is just kind of going
yeah,
back to whatever,
yeah.
Germany?
Yeah, so and also I also saw something which today call it I'm no longer in my 20s 30s. I look at it a bit with that lens of a bit of philosophy. I also see this that I saw that even when I looked back at the thread, I saw that India became celebratory in the world of Puma when India was successful. India was super successful. India was a crown jewel, got superbly celebrated. I would not I would not disagree that India was spoken about in global platforms very, very well. But I also know the time when we were not. And then there, some of the other markets, more evolved markets, maybe eighth, the brand might have been the eighth in that market in the pecking order, but was far more given attention than India did. So India really had to hustle. And if you ask me, my number one reason to start Agilitas and create a company from India for the world in this category is just simply this. Because India does not have pride of place till India hustles and makes the space. And it's absolutely, for me, it gives me the number one reason to wake up every morning. And
That
I
is so
saw
true.
that. I saw that. When we were small and we were insignificant versus others are also small and insignificant, India is treated like a rounding off, right? You had to really hustle and say, hey, this entire story about India becoming the number one, Puma becoming number one and spoken about and all that, then you get all the love, all the respect.
It almost feels like you have to earn it
You have to earn it, you have to
more than others.
hustle for it, and you just create your space. You have to break through those doors. You have to break through the global headquarters. Till date, Puma, when they moved to a bigger, I'm just giving a small, in the global subsidiary, in the global headquarters, I saw meeting rooms. A new office came up. Shanghai, Tokyo, Frankfurt, New York, Boston. There was no New Delhi. There was no Bangalore. There was no Bombay. And these are small little things, and
They
and this
matter.
is where it does matter. This is the pride of the country that we have to build. Like, we are investing so much of our time, giving our best, but it's not a fair world. And just like internally I had to fight this through, I want to now fight it out from outside.
That is such a powerful thing. That is such a powerful thing because every time someone tells